Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into a really fascinating and, yeah, pretty complex idea. What if I told you that the Quran, one of the most important books in the world, might contain a hidden code, a kind of mathematical and textual structure woven right into its verses? So let's just start with that big question. What if, underneath the spiritual guidance and the beautiful language, there's another layer entirely, an intricate pattern of numbers and words, almost like a digital signature, pointing to something extraordinary about its origins? That's the mystery we're going to try to unpack today. Now, there's actually a name for this whole field of study. It's called the Quranic Numerical and Textual Pattern Theory, or QNTP for short. And the core idea here is that these connections you might find aren't just random coincidences. No, the theory proposes they're part of a deliberate system designed to link key ideas and prove the text's divine authorship. So, if you were going to look for a code like this, where would you even start? It's a huge book. Well, the theory says the starting point is actually pretty simple. It begins with three specific Arabic letters that are, absolutely central to the book's identity. Those three letters are Q, Ra, and Nun. Put them together, and what do they spell? Quran. So for the people who study this, these letters are like the foundational key, the first step to unlocking the whole thing. The investigation kicks off by simply tracking where the word Quran appears in the text. All right, so the first critical location is right here, in Surah 2, verse 185. This is huge because it's the very first time the word Quran is mentioned in the entire book, tying it directly to the moment of its revelation. You can think of this as our first anchor point. And of course, if you have a beginning, you gotta have an end. The second anchor point is all the way over in Surah 85, verse 21. This is the final mention of the word Quran, and here it's described as glorious. So you see what we have now? These two verses are like the textual bookends for the whole theory. Okay, so we've got our two bookends, our starting point and our finishing point in the text. This is where the theory takes a really interesting turn. It pivots from words to numbers, proposing a direct and pretty surprising mathematical link between these two key verses. Let's just dive right into it. The calculation itself is incredibly simple. You take the surah number where the first mention appeared. That's surah 2. Then you take the surah number for the final mention. That's 85. Add them together. 2 plus 85 equals 87. So we have the number 87. Big deal, right? Is it just a random result of adding two numbers together? Or does it actually lead somewhere? Well, according to the theory, this isn't random at all. This is the first major clue that we're on the trail of a real, deliberate pattern. And here it is. This is the big reveal. The number 87 points you precisely to verse 87 of Surah 15. And what does that verse say? It specifically mentions the Great Quran. Come on, that's a pretty powerful link, right? It connects the first mention, the last mention, and this verse, all through one simple number. But hold on, because the theory claims this rabbit hole goes even deeper. Take the surah we just landed on, Surah 15. Now just add its digits together. 1 plus 5. You get 6. Okay, so what? Well, if you look at that exact verse, 1587, the word Quran is, get this, the sixth word. It's just another little layer suggesting this is all part of some meticulous design. Okay, so from these initial connections, the theory starts to zoom out. Researchers are proposing that these smaller patterns we've seen aren't just isolated curiosities. They think they're all part of a much bigger structure, one that's built around a single, massive, overarching number. And this is the number 15,876. Now, the steps to actually get to this number are a lot more complex, but inside the QNTP theory, this is seen as a potential master number. It's like a grand total that ties a bunch of different patterns together. So how does this number work? Well, the theory breaks it down to reveal even more patterns. It turns out that 15,876 is exactly 12/6 times 126. So that makes the number 126 pretty central, right? But then if you take the digits of 126, 1 plus 2 plus 6, you get 9. And that number 9 is another one that proponents say is super significant in other patterns found all over the text. So what's the point of all this? You've got this web of connected verses, all these layers of numerical links, a potential master number. What does it supposedly all add up to? What's the purpose of a design like this? So what's the ultimate goal here? According to the people who study this, these patterns are not just a game of look what I found. They think it serves two really deep purposes.
First, thematic coherence, creating this mathematical web that ties together the Quran's most important ideas. And second, structural coherence, acting as a kind of hidden blueprint, a signature suggesting an architect beyond human ability.
Now, this QRN pattern we've been walking through, it is not the end of the story, not even close. In fact, the theory suggests that it's just one piece of a much, much larger interconnected system of patterns running all through the Quran. And this table kind of shows what I mean. The QRN pattern doesn't exist in a vacuum. Researchers suggest it clicks right into other proposed numerical systems. You've got patterns like Pola 237 based on prime numbers and Pola 729, which connects back to that number 9 we saw earlier. The thinking is that these aren't just a bunch of isolated coincidences, but are all parts of one massive, interconnected system. Of course, I have to stress this is an ongoing field of research. This is not a settled, done deal. To take this further, researchers are asking some really big questions, like, does that master number, 15,876, actually match a total word or letter count somewhere? Does the number 126 have some known symbolic meaning in history? The investigation is definitely far from over.
And that really leaves us with this final thought. It's a theory that challenges us to look at a sacred text in a completely different light. If, and it's a big if, but if these patterns really are part of a deliberate design, it opens up a mind-blowing question. What other messages, what other layers of meaning might still be lying there waiting to be discovered?